Well, we just watched episode 18 of Gotham Season 2, Pinewood. So what did we learn? Well, we learned that Thomas Wayne's supercomputer needs a new graphics card. Those graphics were looking kind of early 1990s there, maybe a little upgrade. Speaking of Thomas Wayne, we also learned that he was trying to create a live-action version of The Land Before Time with that dinosaur. It's a dinosaur hand. That's what I thought it looked like. You remember that movie, right? Yeah. And lastly, we learned that, spoilers, Theo Galavan is back as Azrael, and he is more evil than ever. You know how I can tell? He grew a beard. Villains grow facial hair. They are more evil. My guests tonight on the Red Couch from Dead Edition, David Cottingham and Russell Johnson. And just another reminder, we're giving away this Harvey Bullock pop figure. To be entered in to win it, all you have to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel that you're watching right now and comment below on this episode, or the one previous, or the one next to it. That's how we're picking people to win this pop figure and send it your way. I'm Chad Perkins, he's Harvey Bullock, and this is After Gotham. Right, that's right. I told you. Welcome to After Gotham, the show that films After Gotham. I'm your host, Chad Perkins, and please welcome to the Red Couch of 90s comic storylines from the Dead Edition, David Cottingham and Russell Johnson. Fellows, how are we?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Great.
I don't blend to the couch this week, so
You don't?
I'm not floating head.
That's true.
Yeah.
You did last week.
Yeah.
You contrast.
Didn't think about it when I picked the shirt out. Sorry.
I always think about couch color when you're picking out your talk show wardrobe.
Yes.
Episode 18, Pinewood. First impressions. First of all, welcome back, Dave.
Yes. Thank
Russell.
Good episode again. I thought this was on par. Last week we talked about how good the episode was. And they did it this week too, and they wrapped up storylines. They kept the pace moving. I thought it didn't drag or linger on big monologues and things like that. So I thought it was a solid episode. Very good.
Dave?
you. I thought it was a pretty good episode also.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Russ, the lighting and the directing and the DPing of this episode really stood out to me. The camera angles and the way it was shot, I thought that was really well done. I thought it worked well with the pacing of the episode a lot. And I liked a lot of the Bruce stuff, man. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Normally he gets on my nerves, but he was good this week.
He was good.
He was good this week.
He was good.
Yeah. He's a bratty teen. So.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But he just a lot of things he said was very Batman.
Yeah.
Very Batman.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Well, he's not messing around anymore. He's
No.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he's going full at it. The reason why I said the couch of 90 comic book storylines is
Why did you say that?
Azrael,
Okay.
who stepped in for Batman after he had his back broken by Bane.
Uh-huh.
So tell
Nightfall.
us. Nightfall, thank you. Tell us about the comic book origins of Azrael.
I don't know. It has something to do with the Order of St. Dumas again. And he has, I thought it was interesting contrast between the comic book and the show is that when he starts saying, he's talking to himself in his own head, like, sister, oh yes, the holy city, blah, blah, blah. Azrael does a lot of that internal monologue in his head, talking to the Order of St. Dumas, the sisters and the holy city, all that kind of stuff. So I'd have to go back and read Nightfall to see where Azrael came in to the whole picture, because I was the tail end of me being involved in Batman and stuff like that. But he I guess at least their origins are, he didn't get made by Hugo Strange. I know that.
Right.
He wasn't resurrected. He's Jean Paul. What's his name? Jean Paul something is his real name. So he's not even Theo Galavan resurrected. He's another character. So it'd be interesting to see how they spin that in this show, because they're sticking a little bit to it in his own head. And I think even recently in the current comic books, Azrael was involved in the Batman and Robin Eternal storyline, the weekly book that came out. Azrael showed up in that. And he was very much all about the righteousness and godliness and all that kind of stuff in his mind. So they seem to stick at least to that particular storyline.
Mm-hmm. So in the comic books, he eventually becomes the big metal suit Batman.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which then comes back later, very recently, when Jim Gordon became Batman. Right. Also a big metal suit. So it's
Big
kind
metal
of
suit.
Mhm.
yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
But this episode,
Robot Batman.
Robot Batman, yeah, Robo Batman. This episode basically, had the three pillars, that being one of them, the other one being Barbara, and the other one being Bruce. No Penguin. This
No Riddler.
this
No
week,
Riddler.
no Riddler. That's right. Looks like we're getting some Riddler next week by looking at the previews. But let's just talk about the whole Barbara stuff, because this is the most we've seen Barbara since season 1, I would say, right? When did her fall happen? Was that this season?
No, that was the first half of this.
Oh, that's right. That was the first half.
Yeah.
Because she was in the yeah.
It's only been a few episodes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Seems like it's been a lot longer
It should have been a lot longer,
without Barbara.
but it wasn't.
So
She
Dave,
had pants on. Well, she had a dress on.
she had a dress on, yeah. So
So-
still,
You couldn't see her legs too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about her intentions? Do you believe her? What do you think she has a motive?
No, I think I think she's truly still crazy. Like I don't think she's healed. Obviously, I mean we all know that this is Hugo's experiment.
Yeah.
So she's not cured. I think she's truly trying to win Jim back and get his trust back, but she's still Psycho Barbara, there's no doubt. Especially now when you saw at the end, she's going back to, what's her, Tiffany Gallant? Is it Gallant?
No.
It's Gallivan's
Galvin's sister.
sister. What's her name?
Oh, if you hadn't asked
sorry.
me.
But Butch and her.
Oh wow, it just left. No.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
her.
But so that
Tabitha.
Tabitha, thank you. I knew it started with T.
Yeah.
Tabitha. So obviously she knows that. I mean, she knows that part of her still, obviously. So yeah, I don't think I think her intentions are she truly does want to get back with Jim, but she's totally capable of doing all those things again.
Mm-hmm. Now, Russell, were you thinking that she had actually turned back to bad? Not, I shouldn't say turned back to, because maybe she never left it. But did you buy that it was a whole act when she was with the lady?
Looking for that information for Jim. Yeah, I was very confused. I was very thrown off by the whole Barbara storyline. Like the Penguin, I think like Dave, I don't think she knows she's crazy. I think she realizes what she did in the past, and she really is trying to make up for it. So when they threw that whole twist in with her being psycho and strapping Jim to the chair, I was like, oh, here we go again. So for her to kind of pull the whole switcheroo there on everyone, I thought that was pretty good. But at the end, I was a little not disappointed, but I was like, why is she going back with Butch and Tabitha? That doesn't make any sense. Because when she talked about her resources, she's like, she still says she's rich. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. That could be part of the whole game there. Because she was rich, but she still has her parents' money. I would assume it's still there.
Yeah, it's a question. If you murder your parents, do you get the inheritance,
Well, you don't
or
know.
does
Yeah.
that?
I don't think she's got money.
So
That's why
I
she's
just
going back to Tabitha.
I feel I thought that was very confusing. I didn't like the fact that she was back there, considering it made it seem like she was again like Penguin trying to do good and be good.
Mm-hmm.
But then but she knows what she did, just like Penguin knew what he did, and that's why his father dying just set him off and triggered him to go back. And I hope they don't do that with her. I wish they'd just move on with the storyline with her where she's not evil. I just don't understand the whole Barbara Kane thing. I've never understood that, based on and it's come from my comic book background. I just don't understand how that woman could be that evil,
Yeah.
and then later on down the line have
What do you think
be
that's why
married and
they're?
have 2 kids with Jim. It
Yeah,
doesn't make
is
any
that why
sense.
they're doing this, to get Jim and her back together? Because we always said we could never see how it could ever happen, but if she
Well, and he
truly
even
makes
said
a
it.
180,
He even said it in there. Never.
Yeah, but Come on.
Yeah, I was impressed. Jim was like, well, maybe you have changed and maybe you are okay now, but I can never forgive you.
I
type
can
of
never.
thing.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think Howard can. I just don't think Howard can.
but who knows? Like I said,
maybe he gets knocked out and he loses and he gets amnesia who she is, and then, whatever. But
But I do. I mean, I feel like with all the storylines that they're moving along, like again, I was concerned with Penguin being sane and that dragging out for the entire season or something. But to have him like in 2 episodes go back to being Penguin again, yeah, okay, move that story along. I feel like Barbara, they're just kind of flip flopping on her and just sticking her in these. I don't know. She seems really out of place as far as the overall storyline goes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the thread, but she's not a real. I don't know. This is not an interesting storyline. I don't see where they're going with this. I mean, she's just a crazy ex. It doesn't make any sense.
right.
So,
What did y'all think of Pinewood Farms or Project Pinewood Farms? That whole deal.
Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised. I mean, this is episode. Is it episode 18? So we're almost all the way through 2 seasons, and we pretty much now know who at least, not the guy who pulled the trigger, but the guy that hired the person to pull the trigger to kill the Waynes, right? Because I remember, when we first did the show, when we first did the pilot, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that, okay, this entire series probably is about who killed the Waynes, and now we're 2 seasons in, and we now know who commissioned it. I was real surprised how much information we got in this episode on the Waynes, because I kind of would have been okay with them getting the philosopher part, but not revealing who the philosopher actually was, even though we probably figured it. You probably knew right away.
Mm-hmm.
But even getting that was a lot. I felt like so. I just feel like now, like you were talking about with storylines, I almost feel like you have to almost wrap this up pretty quickly. Not let this linger another season or 2, you know what I mean? Because, is Gordon not going to be on the GCPD for the next 4 seasons or something?
Yeah,
I don't know. So something's got to give there. I liked it. I was just surprised how much information we got so quickly in this episode, and because this whole season, the whole first half of the season was Galvan had the identity in the folder, right? So right when he got that, or right when he threw it in the fire, I was like, oh my God, start over, which is fine. Again, this is kind of, I thought, was the lingering, the question mark that was going to linger the entire series to kind of create Batman, right? I mean, that's what he's driving. His driving force right now is to figure out who kills, and that's what's turning him into Batman, right? So I would have been okay with that. So I don't know if he figures it out next season. It's like, what's going to keep him continuing to become Batman?
Well, what's the lingering question? Because we know
who killed his parents.
Hugo Strange contacted the lady, who then hired Matches Malone, who then...
No, remember, she turned it down.
Oh yeah, she did turn it down.
She turned the contract down, right? That's what she said.
You just watched it, so
yeah. No.
Because
remember, Matches didn't kill his parents. So.
He's sure of that?
Yeah.
He was sure of that. He was sure of that?
Well, that's what the whole thing was. That he was like,
They left that.
That was kind of ambiguous.
It was totally like he was just playing along because he wanted him to kill him.
Right. That was very.
That's
ambiguous.
That's why he didn't kill him, because he's like, you didn't. I'm pretty sure he thought you didn't do it. But she said, no, I didn't take the contract. And then she's like, well, you got a nickname, right? You got the name. I only got the nickname, philosopher. So, so he was finding people to contract. The person that pulled the trigger is still a mystery.
I thought he didn't
which
shoot.
Could be Joe Chill eventually. Who knows? But
I thought he didn't shoot Matches Malone because he didn't see him as a monster anymore. He just saw him as this person. And of course, he's not just going to.
Well, he never admitted it either, right? He never.
That is true. I mean, it was
it.
definitely very ambiguous.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. That he was like, "Oh, I killed so many people," but then I think he started egging him on, like, "Oh yeah, I remember," because he wanted him to die. I mean, he wanted to die, so he ended up killing himself.
Now with Pinewood, I was a little disappointed because I found it very odd that when Hugo was looking at the X-rays, I said what I turned her into, and the X-ray looked like
It was over top.
It looked like it had something on her hand here, but it also looked like her fingers were actually sharp. You know, it looked like it had like a claw hand or something.
Yeah.
So that's what I assumed it was going to be. So when she holds up like the bird foot, I was like, what? I thought that was kind of weird.
Dinosaur hand.
Yeah, it was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Because it looked like, again, looked more like a, for lack of a better term, Lady Deathstrike from Marvel
Yes,
Comics. She's got she's got elongated like fingers, just slices. That's what it looked like in the X-ray. It didn't look like a talon from a bird.
Yeah.
You know, it just looked kind of odd. So she held, when she's holding them both on their hands, just got that three-fingered thing. I was like, I mean, yeah, it is weird, but I thought that was a little odd.
I don't know if you guys remember, but the first Transformer movie when Anthony Anderson, when they got locked in that thing, and they said, "Oh, that's Wolverine, man! It's either 3 claws. That's Wolverine, man." You remember that? And so when Gordon walked, or when Alfred walked in and saw those 3 marks, like, "That's Wolverine, man! That's Wolverine." Okay.
So I thought that was just odd.
Yeah.
I thought it would be cooler if she had did razor fingers or something. I thought that would like Edward Scissorhands, but totally
That's why I
mutated.
I didn't think the X-ray looked like the claw.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
it looked very odd
too,
when she did that. I was like, "Ooh,
that's what, bird girl?"
Yeah, it was also very doll-maker-esque.
Kind of.
We put a dinosaur's hand or a bird's hand on a woman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on in this show. A lot of resurrections and trying to manipulate genetics and so on and so forth. I thought Captain Cold was pretty cool. Seeing him for
Captain Cold.
Freeze. God, I watched too many shows.
Almost, yeah, I know.
I watched too many shows that have Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze.
Right?
Mr. Freeze looked pretty cool though. I think he should have had the dome though.
I totally think
he should have had the dome because I was kind of like, well, if he can't be outside, I mean, I understand, his whole body's being refrigerated under 32 degrees, but his head was exposed. He has goggles on. I was like, where's the dome? If you had the dome, it would contain it all, right?
When you go to the grocery store and you get the eggs, they're just in that thing, but you're always like, if I had to open a door to get this, these would be colder. So it's not like milk.
Yeah, that's cold.
He's like eggs, and he needs the
escaping.
milk.
I think he needs the dome,
and he doesn't need to have hair, and he needs to talk like this.
Yeah.
I was okay with the hair. I like his look, but he should have had the dome.
Chill.
Yeah.
He should have had the dome on. That's all.
Chill out.
Chill.
The Ice Age.
Always goes there.
Yeah. Gordon apparently not very good at coming up with a plan unless it involves someone else's money being blown. When he had, how much money can you get quickly, Bruce? So I'm gonna set up this trap where we give away 100,000 of your dollars or whatever. That was kind of weird, but then Karen, dinosaur hand girl, completely just sacrifices herself. She seemed to be so concerned about her own self-preservation that kind of was a little odd for me. That
completely threw me off. Like, why aren't you running?
Yeah. It's like they went to all this trouble to save you.
Right.
Maybe it's because she killed a guy.
Well, I think it's because...
So did Alfred. Alfred shot a dude.
And at first I was confused at why Alfred wrecked. I'm like, I guess he saw Dr. Freeze and then just, peeled off. But, it seemed like he was far away. Why didn't he turn down the road or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought there was going to be, an ice barrier or something.
The only explanation I can give for Karen sacrificing herself is when they finally got in the van and they had that talk. And he's like, I got a new identity for you, no one hurt you again, I made you a promise, blah, 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 blah. And she was just like, wow, you're just like your father who cared for me, came to me all the time, gave me things to read and music and all that kind of stuff and kept checking on me. So at that point she's like, I need to do something for you because this guy's going to kill everyone. Because Mr. Freeze would have taken everybody out to get to her. Right, so
he tried.
Yeah, exactly.
He threw that bomb afterwards. Anyway.
Exactly.
That's right.
So she was already dead at that point. So, but yeah, he was just
getaway.
I think she was just kind of like, look, she's been holed up in the woods forever. Yeah. What else is she gonna do? So
yeah,
that's the only explanation I can give for it. If they would bust her out and Mr. Freeze just stopped it, did she sacrifice herself? Maybe, but she was like, I'm glad I met you. Blah blah. Just remind her all that stuff. So who knows? It's thin, but that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So. No, because they ended up Fox ended up, because at first I thought they did that so that, again, we got to start over. She was the only one who knew who the philosopher looked like. So that's why I thought that they killed her off.
Yeah.
Prolong
Absolutely,
that. Prolong that, but then the very next
Which
scene,
was, I was glad though.
Like,
I was glad those losers were like, here, this picture, philosopher, boom, solved. I'm like, all right, sweet.
Yeah.
Drag that out for another rest of the season.
Information it would have been good yesterday.
Yes.
Hey, Lucius, a little
It was-
slow,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
A little slow.
Right. So now that names escaping me,
Hugo.
thank you, Hugo Strange. Now that he has the ability to bring people back to life, are we thinking we're going to see the Joker? Joker, not the Joker?
I think someone asked us that on Twitter too.
Well,
when
we're answering it.
when Jerome was coming back.
Yeah, is Jerome going to come back now?
I don't know. I don't know if I want that back.
Yeah, I don't know if you keep bringing people back.
Yeah,
I think
that's good.
maybe Galavan's the one
The exception.
success
Yeah.
that they have or whatever, and then because Azrael's a pretty big character within that. Although it's just it's weird him being so young because the comic book again he was full blown Batman when Azrael ever showed up. Now he's around when Bruce is a kid, so it's like
It's the Smallville syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. It's a retelling or a different telling, a different imagining.
Yeah. It's a
Type of
different
thing,
Earth.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now,
Flash will show up eventually.
yeah. Let me pose this to you. Now that we've seen how much Batman-y Bruce is acting,
Batman-y.
Batman-ish, because we asked this, again, to bring up the pilot, how much is Bruce going to start becoming Batman? Now that we're about a season and 2/3 through, what do you think now?
How much do we think he's going to, or how much we want?
How much do we think?
All of this Batmanish activity is centered around him finding out who killed his parents. I feel like if he figures that out and finds that out, what else would make him become Batman? You know what I mean? Like, besides just the city being corrupt.
Wanting vengeance?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Justice.
Obviously in the comic, he knows. The guy gets caught, right? I mean, it's Joe Chill. I mean, that's the most of the time it's Joe Chill, and it's the corruption of the city and how bad the city is that kind of makes him become Batman too. But in this one, it seems like they're clearly saying that's what's driving him is who killed the parents. And then the corruption in Wayne Enterprises and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I feel like if he figures that out too soon, I don't know what else would drive him to become Batman after all these years.
Well, I think that they're trying to set up little things where he's actually learning through the process of trying to find out who his parents are, that there's a bigger picture there. Because when he helps Karen, or he's goes out with Selena, or tries to get these experiences, or he hunts down Matches Malone and realizes I can't kill a murderer. I can't, if you kill a murderer, then there's still the equal number of murderers in the world, right? That's the Batman.
Yeah.
So he realizes I can't kill him. I want justice. And this isn't the way to get it. So I think I think the only thing they can do is they can't focus on if he finds out, then it's over. They got to keep building these little storylines in between, how he's helping people, how he's seeing the bigger picture here. Like, I need to help this city. The city's, how much has he seen so far? How bad the city has become? And with his parents, I thought the one good thing about Pinewood that Karen said to him. It's like, yeah, your father started it, but once he realized what was going on, he shut it down. So it's like he's the anti-Lex Luthor. He uses all his money to do all these cool, weird things, but if it goes bad, he shuts it down. Whereas Lexus keeps going. He didn't care. Yeah. So hopefully within learning all that, that's going to drive him to want to learn more, fight more, grow more.
I agree with that, but I feel like everything right now has been
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Even going with Selena was, in order to me to find the criminals, I got to figure out how they think, right? So that's why he's spending time with Selena in the criminal underworld, which he does, again, maybe by doing that, yes, I think in the end he can see how corruption, how much corrupt the city is. But but to be honest, how corrupt is it right now? Because Falcone's gone, Maroni's dead, Penguin's not even around. Right now it's Butch. It doesn't seem like he's doing much because we're not even seeing his storyline.
Yeah.
So it's like, how corrupt has it been anyway? Just in the past few months.
Yeah.
Galvan was. That whole thing was about taking over Wayne Enterprises.
Right.
Not really controlling Gotham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Butch is out getting whatever that is that Tabitha wanted. I can't remember. But
yeah.
you remember to pick it up.
Eventually, Penguin seems like maybe he'll come back, obviously. And then we're talking about maybe another corrupt Gotham. I don't know. But I agree. I mean, there's definitely ways to get him going. But right now, it seems like it's all.
Well, I know. I agree with that, too. That's what I'm saying. They got to move away from that. They got to do more of, Penguin's got to go after the Wayne's reputation or something. I don't know. Somebody's got to do. It's got to be bigger than just that one storyline.
Yeah.
I made a promise to Bruce. I'm finding who killed your parents. They've got to stop reinforcing that and start moving along. That can still be the underlying tone of everything, but they've got to get that bigger picture going.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully with Hugo Strange and Azrael and Penguin and Riddler and everybody's Mr. Freeze and everybody starting to come together. Hopefully that will branch it out to where it is a bigger picture, because the villains are cool.
Mm-hmm.
The villains are really good in the show. Yep. So I think they got to somehow go directly after Bruce, or people he cares about, specifically outside of his parents,
Yeah.
So he can.
When is Lee coming back? That's what
I want to know. That's what everyone wants to know.
Where are you, Lee? Oh, Lee.
She's off having a baby.
Yep.
She's having a baby. Yeah.
They've already had the baby.
Yeah, that's right.
This year?
Her and Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's actually.
Oh, yeah, Jim.
Realistically. Yeah, sure.
She's
In the show, I don't know if it's been that long.
No.
Yeah.
Now, here's the one thing that Gotham.
Oh, she lost the baby, right? They said she lost the baby?
They say.
That's what they said. That's what the book said.
The one thing they've got to avoid in this show, and we talked about this on Dead Edition, is that when you have a kid that young in his teenage years, right before his teenage years, if the show's only gone for in real time 2 years, but it's been 6 years, kid grows up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So he goes from a little kid to a full-blown man in 2 years. So they got to avoid that with Gotham too. I mean, if this goes for X number of seasons, little Bruce Wayne, even it could be again, 2 years down the road, he could be full-blown growing a beard and stuff, and he's only 2 years old.
I think they've stuck kind of the real time.
I think so.
So I think it's. It seems like the seasons are changing is, but
yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
Well, I wanted to remind you guys about the contest we have going here for old Harvey Bullock. Just be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/21network, and leave a comment on this episode, the one before it, or the one before, probably the one after. I don't know. We'll see. See how it goes. I don't have a lot of time. To be entered in for a chance to win this pop figure right here that I'm pointing at and which I'm now holding. Here it is. So do that. And follow these guys on Twitter at DCottingham21, at Russell. Nope, he is at Director421.
Not at all.
But his name is Russell Johnson. His name is David Cottingham. My name is Chad Perkins. The show is at After Gotham. And until next time, everybody act like Mr. Freeze and stay frosty.